Hey guys, welcome back, welcome aboard, welcome home, of course, and as always, completely dependent on where you are in relation to this channel this week, and these energies. This is the weekly What's Up for the week of July 18th through the 24th, 2022. I am going to do this a little bit differently this week. For a couple of reasons. One is that I had occasion to listen, and I listened to how mumbo jumbo it sounds to talk about aspects just on the surface. So here's how we're going to do it. On Monday, the major aspect that we have on Monday is that Mercury in Cancer opposes Pluto, retrograding Pluto in Capricorn. And so that kind of energy is about expression, right, and depth of expression. The moon also moves from Pisces into Aries, and so your emotional state might move from kind of a dream time overnight phase of feeling a little nebulous and in your feels to a feeling a little more you-centered, or just a little more active, a little more fiery, a little more willing to chase your heart, right? So the way that this day will play out is kind of a day for deep conversation, right? And depth of expression is also possible, right? So you can lean into that, right? That moon in Aries, as I said, can create a willingness to, I saw you, friend, a willingness to explore your feelings, or also the potential to kind of feel your feelings explosively. So be mindful of your reactions, right? The moon in Aries is going to square a Cancer Venus and then conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So that's about how you guard your feelings and how you amplify them, right? So what I want you to know is that the way you choose to be in conversation or expression is going to amplify, right? And on Monday going into Tuesday, we have two really big Pluto oppositions, right? Mercury in Cancer, and then the Sun in Cancer. Both oppose Pluto retrograding right now in Capricorn. So this is about yourself, your identity, your expression, how you tell your story, and anything that's opposing Pluto is really going to have an opportunity to go deeply and be transformative, right? So its nature is going to be in question. So on Tuesday, Mercury, that planet of communication, right, that opposed Pluto the day before, actually moves into Leo. So the way that you are expressing yourself and feeling the expression of yourself is really going to shift and change. And Chiron, that planet of how we define our wounds, our woundedness, our healing, our health, in terms of the way that we are have the capacity to carry our expression, moves retrograde, asking us to go internal with the way that we define our healing journeys, right? Yeah, very exciting, honestly. And so Chiron is also in Aries, like the moon. And then so Chiron moves retrograde, right? Asking you to turn inward just after Mercury moves into Leo, fire, 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 right? So this is the fire of your self-healing journey. And just after all of those in the evening, that Sun, right? It's that second of those Pluto oppositions. So how are you defining yourself? Right? So your expression will shift, right? As Mercury moves into Pluto. Wow, exciting. As Mercury moves into, wow, as Mercury moves into Leo, hello. this expression is going to change, right? So the way that you want to self-define, the way that you want to talk about yourself, the way that you want to be witnessed is going to get bigger. It's going to feel bigger. Very much so, right? Mercury in Cancer is about self-definition from a place of safety, from a place of heart. Mercury in Leo is self-definition and expression from a place of bigness. Like, okay, I've done some work. Let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what it looks like and feels like. So as Chiron moves retrograde and you're also, right, trying to witness your journey, like, you know, to assess it from how am I doing? How am I telling this story as a healed being or as a healing being, right? So where are you going to identify with your wounds and your feelings? You may feel very sensitive on Tuesday. My advice here is to mind the spiciness of your feelings with all of this fire, right? You have an opportunity to witness your identity at depth, right? And in that Cancer-Capricorn dichotomy that are those Mercury and Sun oppositions to Pluto, this is about your inner and outer self. This is about your inner and outer expression. This is about how you feel and how you present, right? So those are big awarenesses. And later in the day, over into Wednesday, the moon will sextile Saturn, really talking about what you're doing about it, right? We talk about that a lot, like what you do is who you are, and that is true, but it's also about what you do about the story. On Wednesday, we have another T-square. Remember, we had a whole bunch of those for a couple of weeks. This is that moon, or the sun, I'm sorry, opposed to Pluto, and then squaring the moon. So this is a cardinal T-square. What that means is this energy is very big, very pronounced, very, very present, very witnessed and witnessable, right? So there's a concern on Wednesday that you might get stuck in like posturing, which is really funny. We'll get to talking about that. But you may also be kind of susceptible to self-doubt. The other thing that I do want to mention is that Uranus in Taurus is conjunct the South Node also in Taurus, right? So that this change based on your inner knowings, right? The things that you innately know, your gifts, your talents, your hardwired skill set, okay, based on your inner knowledge. The key here is that if that is out of alignment, the change won't take you where you want to go, right? And so if you roar too loudly about your insides, you can end up kind of feeling like that Hulk smash energy, right? The key here is to be in defense of what feels like home and to witness any uncertainty or instability as a place to explore, right? A place to look more deeply. Are you building on bedrock or are you standing on quicksand? And that information will be very available to you on Wednesday. On Thursday, really, the moon in Taurus conjuncts Mars in Taurus. So where are you digging your feet in, right? We talked about quicksand and bedrock. What are you standing on? And what are you standing for? And what are you standing as, right? So this is about changing your MO, right? To be in alignment. And what is not working will be very, very obvious. And also apt and appropriate to move into a shift and a change. On Friday, right, this is a day for emotional shifts. The sun moves into Leo, the moon moves into Gemini. Feeling the way you do things, right? The truth of those things will be very, very blinding. And your feet are not going to be able to be, wow, look at that. Your feet are not going to be able to be heavy or stuck, right? We talked about quicksand or bedrock. It's going to be obvious. obvious as the sun moves into Leo. You cannot show your authentic self if you are not your authentic self. And you're going to have very deep awareness of how that is, how that feels, and where you are in relation to that. And as that moon moves into Gemini, please know that you're going to feel all kinds of ways, right? You have all possibilities, and they are endless. So who are you going to be? What's your story? What story are you telling? That's going to be really, really, really important, especially on Saturday. On Saturday, we've got Mercury in Leo trining Jupiter, right? This day is all about the moon, the sun, Mercury, and Jupiter. So it's who you are, how you're expressing that, and then how you're magnifying it, right? How you make it the biggest it can be. So this is about the story. Rework it. Do not doubt that your story can be edited. And make sure that what you're telling is what you want to be magnified, because it always is. So choose wisely, tell the story wisely, craft your narrative in the highest and best way, right? Witnessing yourself as that healed self. And then on Saturday, this is kind of a day where, where the proof is clear, right? You're going to feel your progress, or you're going to feel yourself progressing, right? You have those options. Or you can feel yourself as stuck or stagnant. You get to choose. Align your expressions with the inner to-do list, right? Of how do I get closer to that feeling of home, to that feeling of authenticity, to that feeling of building on bedrock. Align your expressions with your inner to-do list, and then do it, right? It's not enough to just align. You've also got to do it. So let's have these conversations, shall we? We've got the 9 of Wands and the 4 of Wands. This is defending, and then this is about joyful celebration of those things that you have crafted and built. The 4 of Wands can also be witnessed as a divine pairing card, the 1111 card. It can be a card of divinely crafted partnership or love or blessings. And the 9 of Wands is after moving forward, what am I defending? Where am I defending, and why, right? So we are having that leaning into that deep conversation with your expression, right? Being mindful of your reactiveness or your responsiveness. So what are you defending? Is it your highest and best? And if it is, lean in, keep doing it, right? Because your expression is always available to be that highest and best, as long as you know. And then you lean in and you have stamina and endurance, and you don't ever have to think twice about it, because you know that what you're defending is your highest and best, as long as it is. Okay, we've got the 8 of Cups and the King of Cups. The 8 of Cups is about moving away from anything that is not bringing you joy, contentment, emotional happiness. And the King of Cups is about absolutely knowing when and where to do that. Right? The King supports this because he is the discernment about where to move away and where to lean in. So this is that day where Mercury moves into Leo, where Chiron moves retrograde, where the sun opposes Pluto, right? And the moon conjuncts Chiron. Your expression has shifted, right? Your inner health and healing is the most important thing. Your inner health and healing, and you know that, right? So mind your spiciness, but understand that everything that you do today is really going to be in awareness and in the directive of being aware of the inner and outer dichotomy, whether that's yourself, your psyche, your heart, your soul. There are always those pieces of you that are on the inside, and if you're not in service to them, then it's time to move away, right? You know what to do about that as the moon sextiles Saturn, what you do, right? On Wednesday, we talked about this as that day of square, 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 right? The day of literally posturing, and then we get the 5 of Wands, which is 100% a card of posturing, right? This is not about fighting. It's about being squared up, right? So we talked about kind of this as a day where you get to change your change based on your inner knowing, right? And if you're out of alignment, you will know, right? You will know that Hulk energy versus where are you stable versus unstable, right? Stable versus unstable. Okay. Where are you standing on quicksand or bedrock? And the Six of Cups is a beautiful reminder here, because the Six of Cups is that card of unconditional love. It's about those times where you know that you are loved fully and authentically, right? Wherever that is, wherever that last place where you know you were loved completely and totally simply for yourself, that feeling is the place on which to build. And if you're standing in posture against anything else, right? Wands are ideas. It's your passion. It's your heart. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. If you're defending anything that's not this feeling of unconditional love, you are being invited with that cardinal T-square to step off, right? Change based on your inner knowing. If you're out of alignment, step off, right? If you're in defense of anything that's not home, you're kind of wasting your energy, right? On Thursday, we've got the Page of Swords and the Seven of Cups. Page of Swords is about new ideas, right? And if you have new ideas coming in and you understand what you're waiting for, right? Seven of Pentacles is about having planted your seeds, having sown your ideas, waiting and knowing that what is coming, right? This is lovingly patient. This is tending what you have created in inception, right? These ideas. So beware of where you have dug your feet in, right? This is about changing your MO to be in alignment, and what doesn't work will be obvious. So if you're in alignment, if the seeds that you have sown and planted are in alignment with your highest idea here, then you don't have to wait. Divine timing is your timing, but what is not working will be 100% obvious, right? So feel free to be patient, right? And again, we talk about that Uranus South Node conjunction where change happens in alignment with your innate gifts and talents. So if you know that the walk you're walking is taking you to the right place, you're in business. Don't even give it a second thought. You got all the time in the world, right? Okay, Ace of Wands and the Moon. Very exciting. So Ace of Wands is about inception. It's about passion. It can be about something that really turns you on, something that really excites you and gets you really motivated. It also corresponds to Leo season, which is beautiful, right? And the moon moving into, the moon moving into Gemini. So let's talk about that. The moon moving into Gemini, by the way, you see what my daughter did? The moon moving into Gemini is about those unlimited possibilities, right? Endless potential. Who are you going to be? You get to write that story, right? So the way you do things, right? The way that you witness truth, right? Your feet cannot be heavy, right? The Ace of Wands is about spark. It's about motion. It's about innate understanding and inspiration. And it's about authenticity, right? It's also about deep awareness, right? As that Taurus moon makes her last aspect before moving into Gemini, trining Pluto, right? It's about deep awareness. And then when that moon shifts into Gemini, it's about moving forward with those deep awarenesses in your pocket, right? Not dragging behind you, but in your pocket. Okay, listen, we got double strength. I love this. I love it so much. So on Saturday, we talked about this as the day that Leo Mercury trines Jupiter, and this energy being all moon, sun, Mercury, and Jupiter, about what you're telling is what you're amplifying. Literally, you're creating yourself in every moment, with every word you say, with every bit of expression. Are you choosing wisely? You are being directed to speak your truth fearlessly, right? This strength card is about taming your demons, right? Taming the inner beast, understanding that the beast is you, and the strength to confront that beast gives you the energy, the courage, the valor, right? The strength of your authenticity. What a gorgeous day to witness yourself as choosing wisely in your retelling, amplifying everything that you are. Gorgeous. On Sunday, we've got the Emperor and Judgment. Dun, 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 dun. How exciting. So here's the deal. We talked about feeling your progress or feeling yourself as progressing, right? Aligning with your expressions, your inner to-do list, and then doing it. Here's the deal. The Emperor is that inner to-do list, right? He understands what needs to be done. And Judgment is about releasing anything that doesn't and allowing yourself to be in progress, right? Dying to self in one moment and then accepting something new as we move forward. So there's a glory in this card, absolute glory, right? As we really witness ourselves as that strong, valorous, courageous being that we are, right? Underneath, right? That soul presence, understanding that, you know, we do have the power of our own transformation. And so sometimes that inner to-do list simply requires our engagement, our strength, our courage, our capacity to deal with the fact that life is lessons, right? And that's all life is. Life is lessons. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. Why, yes, we are. Did you hear that bird? Look, what's our card? Number 1. I never use this deck. It's beautiful. It's the Energy Oracle, and I was totally called to use it today. And we get for Leo season week, the Sun. Look at that card. Isn't it beautiful? It is. Let's have a little conversation about it. New beginnings and great creativity. Why, indeed. The Sun brings blessings to the earth, and this card portends blessings in your own life as well. Just as the sun nurtures the earth, bringing new life in the spring and summer, this is your time for a new beginning, the onset of a nurturing new light in your life, the light of divine inspiration and personal growth. This card marks a time of great creativity, Leo season, bringing the culmination of an important new project, such as birth or writing of a publication in a book, or even birth of a new you. Wow, okay. Now is the time to put your energy into expressing your truth and vision. We just said that a million times. Visualize the light of divine love pouring into your heart and mind like rays of the sun, bringing inspiration, growth, and abundant blessings. Why, indeed. See the future you want to create and know that the sun is shining on your intentions now. Well, of course it is. The sun is always shining on your intentions. It's about how you are allowing yourself to shadow, to umbrella and shadow and live in the shade, right? And that's just about barriers, and it's just about healing, and it's just about how we define ourselves as healing or not. Right? And anywhere you are is okay, right? Because life is lessons. We know this. We know this. We know that who we are going to be is always our story. And our capacity to tell that story is how we define ourselves, right? It's beautiful. We have a lot to talk about this week. I will probably do a couple more, at least 2 more videos talking about probably about Chiron and then probably about Leo season, simply because there's so much going on. But anyway, remember, right, to be kind to yourself, to tell your story in a way of healing, right, in a way of compassion for yourself. You know how they go. And if your compassion doesn't include yourself, it's incomplete, right? So tell your story big, and tell your story with great self-love, because that's where all love begins. Yeah, big blessings, guys. Take care. We'll talk soon.